Good day, good afternoon, good night. I'm not even gonna say all that. Welcome to the BitLab daily stream. My name's Kellam. We got the market is pumping today. Woke up and you know what? We outlined both directions yesterday and it's falling right in line with exactly one of those opportunities. Had you done the long or the short would not have been hit, so you wouldn't have even been stopped out. The long would have hit perfectly. We're going to be breaking down the charts today, looking at how we could have played this move if you did not trade this, or maybe you sat on the sidelines, maybe you weren't sure. We're going to break that down. We're going to look at a bunch of different crypto assets today, as well as some other charts that gave us some key signals. And we've talked about a lot of this on the show before. We're going to show you some new stuff. How's everybody feeling today? Did anybody trade this? Let me know. Let me go ahead and pop out the chat here so I can read what you all are saying. Sorry for the 2 or 3 minutes late here. This BitLab launch, I'll tell you what, I've never worked so hard on anything in my life. I was filming a welcome video that it doesn't matter. We're getting there. But today we got a lot to talk about with these markets, what's going on in the market. A lot of pumping, a lot of hope. Are bears getting wrecked? Is it a bull trap? Well, we're going to talk about all that today. Let me go ahead and pull up what it is I'm trying to pull up here. While we get this started, if you have not yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. If you watch stuff on a regular basis, free content that's put out for you for free, and you don't just do the general courtesy of hitting that like button, I don't know what you're doing. We need to have more people that contribute to the greater good. And that's one way that you can contribute, is just by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, joining our community here. A shout out to all the people here in chat. I could not find my mouse here before I started, so I'm doing this with the trackpad today. So if I have a little some errors on the charts, you can forgive me for that. Let me go ahead and make my screen lower there. There we go. Shout out to who we got in here today. We got Flat Smack. Flat Smack said bears wrecked. I think so. GS, what's up? Jake Mueller, Crypto 420, King Peasant, Alexander G, Blazing 2Js, Unforgettable Name, Scott Rod 17, Brian D. We got so many Crypto JNP, Matt C, my boy, Crimson Caravan Company. So many good people in here. Crypto Kid, Mr. Blake, Karen Swigart Harris, always in the house. Tenacious B. Now let's go ahead. I think what we want to do, throw a one in chat right now, or actually type crypto in chat right now if what you want to see is crypto charts today. Throw a 2 in chat if you're here to learn. Throw a 3 in chat if you have a question that you want to ask, and maybe I'll set aside some time to answer some questions. But we got a lot to look at today, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. I'm going to make sure, because I had to restart my computer. All right, so first step is coming over to the BitLab Academy page if you have not yet, and follow BitLab. Come up here, click that follow button, follow BitLab Academy, which is at Academy BitLab. Come down to the daily tweet, retweet this, make sure you're following BitLab, and hit that like button on the tweet as well. The 3 things required. And on Fridays we do the giveaways for I just want to make sure I'm not clipping here. There we go. This should sound better. Fridays we'll be doing a random drawing for all the days of the week. These posts, whichever random day is picked, then we'll pull a random name. And we are getting close, everybody. We're getting very, very close to the wonderful new BitLab Academy page. It's essentially there. We're waiting on a very, very last minute sort of tie up of a couple of things in terms of the click through, some of the processing stuff on the back end. But we've got really what we need here, and over here on the courses. I mean, look at all this stuff we're going to be having in here. Blockchain 101, Bitcoin 101, self-custody, trading fundamentals, psychology of trading, on-chain analysis, candles, candle patterns, indicators, trading strategies, and all of these courses, well, not all of them, but some of them are already sort of set. They're foundational, like blockchain and Bitcoin, but self-custody and all of the rest of these courses will be having stuff added to them over time. And we're going to be adding new courses as we go as well, the NFTs and mining, more trading strategies. It's going to be an ever-evolving thing, and members of BitLab Academy get access to all the courses, not a single course. You get access to everything, as well as the premium Discord that we have when you're an all-access member of BitLab Academy. But also, for all of you that are new and you're still learning and you just want to make sure you get that solid foundation, there is an option to join for free, and there's free resources, these one-on-one courses to understand Bitcoin and blockchain, self-custody, and even some lessons in each one of these courses is all in the free section as well, because we want to make sure that this is not for us just about making money. That's not what it's about at all. What it is about for us at the BitLab is providing the tools and resources to everybody out there, no matter where you're at on your journey, so that you can dominate in this space, so you can understand what's going on. And that's why I made it a point that even if we have a paid members thing, which, by the way, is ridiculously affordable for what it is we offer, I wanted to make sure we did this YouTube channel as well, so we could provide daily free content, free access to knowledge as well. And that's what this show is about, is bridging that gap from beginner to pro, helping break down the charts so you can understand what's going on, rather than somebody just talking at you, giving you targets and charts. So with that, let's go ahead and jump back in here. Make sure you, like I said, come over here, retweet this tweet, like and follow BitLab, and then make sure you come over here and come give my page a follow as well. It's right here, Kelly Kellam, which is at KELOY, I reference a lot of stuff on my Twitter as well on the show. This is it right here, at Kelly Kellam. Now, what are we talking about today? Well, let's go ahead and look at these charts. Man, we got green. Look at this breakout green. We got breakout green. This is it's still a breakout, but it's still within this wick on the XRP, as you can see right here. Let's go ahead and minimize this. So what does this mean for XRP? Is it going to play follow the leader and catch up with some of these other assets? We're going to talk about that. Avalanche broke out clean from its highs. Excuse me. What else do we got? We got the Graph. Broke out past its high. Gala broke out, but still within this high, and also this sort of projected it's just barely breaking through this. We got XRP is down here. Do I have XRP on both pages? Oh, that's good. So I can add something else here. And HBAR, Hashgraph, we could see broke out from its highs, but it's also still under this low. So what does this mean? What's going on with the market? Why did it explode? Well, we can always search for the meaning of why things broke to the upside or broke to the downside. But we can also be very focused and understand the base layer technical breakdown of what's going on in the charts. And we, Jesse Olson, who's a friend of mine here in the crypto ecosystem, wonderful trader, a great analyst. He pays little to no attention to the news, other than all of us being involved with social media. We're all at minimum loosely aware of what's going on, but he doesn't trade based on news. He doesn't ever try to figure out what the news story was that made this or that go up, because all of it, the majority of all this is in the charts in terms of what the opportunities are going to be to the upside and the downside. Let me go ahead. Okay. So we can utilize the knowledge of a big news event coming, like for instance, the Ethereum, the Shanghai upgrade. Now there was a lot of skepticism about what could happen, what wouldn't happen. I'm going to go ahead and move this down as well, so I don't have to sit all the way up the entire time. There we go. Now I don't look like I'm slouching all the way. All right, so we can look at these charts and understand. This is why yesterday on the yesterday's stream, I broke down, I went through different charts and I showed how we can identify levels. And the first step to understanding how to navigate anything is to know the layout of what it is you're doing. And that's why it's important, whether you're looking at Avalanche like this and you don't know what the levels are. In this case, I have very basic levels, just previous lows here and some high and low. So rejection, support, a little bit of support, rejection. So coming up here similarly. So we want to do this on all our assets, but that's not what we're specifically talking about today. Yesterday we did that. So what we're going to be looking at today is what the heck's going on. But before we dive into that, and I want to let you know, I'm going to be covering a broad array of things. I'm going to be covering Bitcoin and Ethereum, Cardano, all the charts I have up, Gala, XRP, HBAR, the Graph. What else we got on here? I think that's it. And we can look at Algo, because it was, I haven't looked at it today, but it was suffering a little bit yesterday. And we'll try and look at a few other coins that you all have in here as well. Look at all those lab coats in the chat. How's everybody feeling today? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Have you bought? Have you sold? If you're watching this live, let me know live in chat. If you're watching this over at the Hit Network, shout out to everybody over there. If any of you all here on the BitLab channel have not checked that out, definitely go and check out Hit Network, which I'm going to pull it up for you right here. They've got, basically, we have a 24/7 stream that airs what's going on here. I'm probably live over there right now, but you can see right here, it's at Hit Network Official. And there's a 24/7 stream. I wonder if I'm live right now. Yeah, I'm live right there right now. So the point being is we got 24/7 crypto content there from all the stuff on Hit Network. But all the people that are there, make sure you come over and you visit us. Visit your boy Kelly right over here at BitLab Academy, which is at youtube.com/at BitLab Academy. We're pushing 6,520 followers right now, and I won't call you all followers. Because I'm following you all too. This is a community. We got 6,520 in our community. We are doing this together. So what the heck is going on? Well, first off, we got to acknowledge a couple of big stories that I'm sure, because all of you are great. You're great students and you're great participants in this space. And I see about at least half of you. Chat is bubbly today. Yeah, let's get this chat going. And if you haven't yet, hit that like button and subscribe button. Ding that bell. I'm telling you, we got to drive these likes today. We got 136 in here, only 64 likes. Less than half of you contribute to the spaces that you're in. What are you doing? Your mother didn't raise you like that. Come on. I made a promise to myself yesterday also that it's funny. If you all met me in person, I'm quite a, I don't want to say charismatic is the wrong word. I'm a pretty boisterous, playful, funny guy. And I realize I'm so passionate about everything that's going on in the crypto space that sometimes on the show, I can be very matter of fact and I'm talking. So I'm going to be a little bit more myself. You all are going to have a bit more of the real me. There's going to be some jokes. There's going to be, I apologize if there's some off-color jokes, but I'm going to try and keep it as family friendly as I can. And I will. Life, you know, we just need to be ourselves. And if I'm doing this all the time, I need to be myself with you all. So you know who I am and I know who you are. So let's get this going. Bitcoin bearish in short term. Mohammed Dahar said, well, let's look into that. It's hump day. So happy hump day. You know, there's a common sort of understanding or consideration, I should say, in traditional markets that we tend to get a midweek reversal in whatever asset. I have something in my teeth. In assets, essentially, a lot of traditional assets is also Forex, where you might, if you have an up portion of the beginning of the week, then midweek the price action will reverse and go the other direction. And if you have a down beginning of the week, then price will reverse and go to the upside. Why is this? Well, this goes all back to what we were talking about many times on here when we're talking about capital flow and liquidity within the markets, because markets don't exist in a vacuum. Markets, whether it's the S&P 500, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Shiba Inu, assets are traded in a public forum, in a public market, so that people can make money. Okay, so if the price is stagnant, if there's not volatility, if there's not movement in both directions, then there's less opportunity to make money. Because even if price was going up, if nobody was selling, literally, think about this. If price was going up, it could feel incredible, right? But what would happen, and this would never happen, but thought exercise, if price was going up, what would happen if there was absolutely no sellers? There's no sellers, then the price would just go so high that eventually, yeah, it absolutely would crash. But that means also nobody's taking profits, so nobody's realizing the gain that's up there. So you want to see, let's come on to the charts. We're going to get into it today, guys. Let's get this chat flowing. You guys post thoughts, post the analysis you have, post some targets that you have in mind. Put the last thing I want to see people, this is supposed to be an engaging community. +1 to off-color I almost said chotes. +1 to off-color jokes, a mellow fellow said. Well, we're going to keep it cream colored, baby. Cream colored or magenta. We're going to do magenta. All right. So we're going to look over here at these charts, and we want to notice that all of this, let's keep it on Bitcoin for the first portion here. All of this was opportunity. We have people pushing up, people taking profits. Some people losing money on the way down, while other people with better strategy taking shorts or just exiting their position and buying lower, either shorting and taking advantage of this and then taking advantage of this. So having price action do these steps, even when it comes down, and I want you to recognize something within yourself. Not my throat, not my throat. Man, I'm loving the energy today, everybody. Let's keep this going. 167 concurrent viewers, only 83 likes. Let's get those likes up. Maybe I'll give something away today if we get over 300 likes, which we should definitely be able to do. We tend to get a lot of people pouring in here in the middle of the show. Let me make sure. Okay, yeah, so we got the post up. Okay, so if you ever feel angry about price, whether it's going up or down, you need to resolve what the reason for the frustration or anger is. Usually it has nothing, I mean, let's be honest, it has nothing to do with price. It has everything to do with being out of position or buying, okay, or buying somewhere up here because, you know, maybe this pushed up, maybe you bought somewhere about right here because you're doing something, you know, on a strategy level where, you know, you're seeing the candle close highs here and this broke above that. So you bought this and then it comes up and that it reverses on you and you're like, I did everything right. Well, sometimes we don't know what it is we did wrong because we're not aware of, especially when you're newer in the space trading, you're not aware of all the considerations you should be looking at. Now, while this would have been an okay trade, you know, looking at this breakout here, well, one, we have these large wicks, so this makes it a little obfuscated in terms of where the entry would be. So, but if you did take this trade right here, you know, because you have this push up, this is so hard without my mouse. I'm doing it with the trackpad. This push up, and then, you know, this break of this level right here, right? So the consideration is, if you zoom out, what do I always say on here? I'm going to double click on the chart. I'm going to double click on the chart without my paintbrush and minimize those indicators, hit the auto button. So zooming out here, we see that this is that area that shorter term time frame trade would have been. Had you taken that trade and just expected to front run it, you were going to catch it before it went to 50K. Well, that means one, you did not zoom out. And zooming out, you would have seen that there's a lot of turbulence in this area. There's a lot of, and these waves essentially teleport over to this part of the chart because price hasn't been back to this level since. So this is wavy, very wavy water, okay? And this is sitting in isolation because no price action has gone to this level since. So once price action comes back to this level, let me turn off this. I'm going to delete the VPVR too. Once price action gets back to this level, then all this turbulence kind of comes over here, and we see that we had resistance right below it. And then right at this level, this was not a bad trade to take this, but this would have been I would have not done this on a 4-hour chart. This trade right here would have been on like a 24-minute chart, like this, okay? And I would have taken this, you know, if I were to take this trade, I would have gotten out very, very quickly. I would have done something, option F, like this, go down to the bottom from this sort of candle high to this right there. And I would have taken on this breakout of this zone, this would have been a scalp, and I would have gotten out somewhere around the 1.618. And it would have been, this would have only been something that I would have done on a leverage trade. I do not recommend leverage trade for anybody out there. I've been trading for years, and this is something I would have done. But my point with all this is, a lot of people, they look at structures and patterns and strategy, and they're not applying it to the right zone of a chart. So now this style of trade would have been more appropriate here because you have the rolling over, and then on this level, you know, you're starting to break out of this sort of, come on. It's very different with the trackpad. There we go. So we had, in this case, we have this trend line right here. So on breakout of this would have made sense. And because of where we're at, if we come back out to there we go. So this was right here. So on this level, from this level up, we could see it's all about situational awareness in trading, everybody. On this level up, just to go up to basically this sort of region here, that's a 20% push up to this zone. Now, remember yesterday when I told you all about how nice it is to set up your crosshairs. You see my cursor has the two crosshairs that go all the way across the chart. This way, I always have to draw a trend line because I have my crosshair, my gray crosshairs go over there, and I can see that this zone, this breakout of this bull flag right here would have been about 17%. But you have to remember also that's a bull flag, so we could have gone, you know, we could do it not all the way from the bottom. We'll do it from this little breakout here. Now, would I have traded this expecting this to hit all the way at this target? Not with all this resistance when I zoomed out here. So going, you know, 70% of the way up of this, you see this right here. This was still trickling up here from this breakout target. But on this trade right here, I would have, you know, basically moved my stop loss up, you know, up into basically this high right here, which this would have never been hit. And this would have kept working its way up, and I would have taken profit at some point within here. We don't need to go back on these trades. What we want to look at is the trades today and what happened with the price action breaking out. Now, remember, everybody, if you were watching yesterday, hallelujah. Throw an OG in chat if you've been watching since the first week. If you've been watching for more than a month, put a mini G. If this is your first week of watching me, let me know in chat. I'd like to see how this community is growing. We're growing fast, and I want to make sure I'm seeing your names. And when you communicate in the chat window, I can see your names. And it's nice to see the similar people growing, and that's you know what I'm saying. The familiarity of community is what we're trying to drive an empowering, engaging community here. So again, hit that like button, subscribe, ding that bell. Be a part of our family here. So yesterday, is this still on? Okay. Is the mic on? Mic check, mic check. So we could see right here, I had these, because the price could go up or it could go down. I was feeling bullish, but it's my directional bias, right? Looking at this structure, this is a bearish structure. We have a lower high and then a breakdown into a bear pennant, okay? This is why we have this measured target down here. But what did I talk about yesterday? You don't need to front run these moves. Trackpad. Okay, go forward. Come on. We don't need to front run these moves. So let's go to zoom in here. Okay. So being with you mother. Okay, so here we go. We don't need to trade this because, you know, take a short because we know it's going to go down only to have it reverse and be stopped out. Or even if you took a long, but you took a long, I know somebody, one of my friends was talking about it earlier, took a long like right here. Actually, it was lower than that. It was like, I think as this was pulling back, he took a long like about right here and basically front ran it. Why do I say front run? Because this is still within a pattern structure. This is now within this bull bear flag or sort of descending or almost a falling wedge sorry, it's just a triangle wedge bear pennant. It's but it's a bear structure, and the fact that this was pointing down gave me a little bit of, and I mentioned this yesterday on stream. The fact that it was pointing down to the slightest bit to the downside did have a little bit of a bullish indication, but if you front ran this, then in which case he did, he got, I think it actually might have been back here. No, it was yesterday, but he got stopped out and only to have the price action go in the direction that he saw it was going to go. So what is the moral of the story? There's enough volatility and price action and movement within these charts that you don't need to try and catch on this bounce up so you get right here for this move. You don't need to do that because look at this. I'm looking at the 4 hour and I drew these two. This is a long and the short. We have both the same range here where the stop losses would be in terms of just above this or just below, just above this resistance or just below the support, whether you're going long or short, right? And I talked about having both set up. In this case, your short would not have even been triggered, so you wouldn't have needed to be stopped out of that. And as this started pushing up to this level, you could have reallocated your capital to the long position. And this was a stop limit I was talking about. Of course, this is all not financial advice. This is strategy. I'm talking through strategy here. But if we look at this, come down to, let's go to the 24-minute. Now look at this. This is a thing of beauty. Double click on the chart. Now we go look at this. Why is this beautiful? What is beautiful about this chart? Well, first off, remember, we got to come back over here. Make sure you're following me if you're not yet. Ticking up, we'll be hitting 21,000 soon. I've been very honored to have so many people I can share information with. My point is this right here. We've got to always remember this right here. Breakout, retest. This is the safest entry. Now, you can front run it and take it here if you want with this tight stop loss, but I do not recommend this. This is more emotionally driven. This will eat your emotions for breakfast if you're not an experienced trader. This is the trade, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, coming back here, what do you see that's similar? This right here, the arcing over and then up, right? This is a trade right there. Now, wouldn't you know it? I did not move these. These are the long risk to reward and the short risk to reward windows that I did yesterday. And look exactly where, this is just luck, I will say. But this is basically right at the point that I would have taken along, because the smart way to do it on a conservative level is to wait until this price action coming back up breaks this previous high, okay? People that have more experience and understand how to read the volatility and momentum and a number of other things, and also healthy risk management, a lot of times will take they'll rather than front running this whole move, when this is showing strong velocity and movement, healthy movement back to this level, some people will front run with this here with the stop loss right at support or right below, which is a very small percentage loss. In this case, I mean, look at this. This is so small. If you were to front run this right where that is, that would have been a 0.4% stop loss if you were to do that. But this is a point. We had an opportunity in both directions. We set this yesterday. I actually don't know if, is my chart on New York time? Yeah, it is on New York time. So this would have been yesterday, 25. Yesterday would have been right here. So you see this stop loss, this entry, the stop limit entry for a short would have not been entered. Now on this level, this sort of breakout here, it could have gone either direction. The fact that you're prepared for both directions doesn't mean that you're not a bull or you're not a bear. The fact of the money is we got to remember this in these markets. We may want our long-term portfolio to go up. We want the charts to go up and to the right, sure. But we need to recognize, every one of us, I need to remind myself of this, baby. It's this right here. We need to recognize that this is the best opportunity we could ever get in crypto. This low accumulation zone, and even this area where we're breaking out and having a little bit of a pullback, this is the same zone here. Now looking, where's my look node? Now what I'm pointing out is these zones right here, okay? This zone right here, okay? This zone right here, and we're still at a level that is, we're setting up for this. We're setting up for this multi-100% and then a pullback. Hopefully with good strategy, taking some profits off here, reallocating profits lower, increasing the size of our holdings. That's my goal. I don't know what your goal is. Everybody needs to form their own strategy with what their emotions can take. If you don't have the emotionality under control to where you don't get shaken out of the market, then maybe you just do longer term plays. One of the things I have in the new BitLab Academy in the courses area is one of the strategies, it'll be a free strategy, is a basic macro trend strategy. Rather than, of course, I look to Bitcoin and I look to crypto and I look to digital assets with a long-term vision, but I look to it with a long-term vision with a short-term plan. So my short-term plan is to stack for my long-term vision. So I'm taking advantage of this market volatility on the way up. Now, some people don't have the strategies nailed down yet, or the courage or the time, time availability throughout the week. But what you can do is, and I don't want to go deep into this, but the basic strategy essentially is, you can go on something like a weekly chart, very simple, MACD crosses and, one other like stochastics or something like that. So you have a few different things. And once you've come all the way down here, once the MACD crosses and your stochastics are reset and starting to angle up, then you can do an entry. And then once you get towards towards the top, you can do similar. Now there's more that goes into that strategy than that, but looking at this, if we look at the MACD, boom, let's go auto. Okay. So for instance, where is it at? It wasn't, was it the monthly? It might've been the monthly. This chart isn't big enough. There we go. So we could see, like right here, you would have sold somewhere, like I would have sold somewhere. It doesn't matter. I don't want to go into this. This is old news. You're going to be able to find all that stuff in the BitLab Academy. I'm just getting sidetracked here because I want to talk about the price action today, what's going on today, and how to dominate, what's happening within the markets, because Bitcoin is getting a little bit unleashed. So we've got to look at a few things. We've got to look at a few things. We need to look at the totals. We can go ahead and undo that. We need to look at the totals. We need to have an idea what's happening with dominance. We can see right here. This is, dominance is bouncing through this channel. We're heading back up strong, meaning Bitcoin is performing better than the altcoin market currently. So is this going to butt its head again? Is this going to break through? We need to keep an eye on this because there is a potential that Bitcoin gets a very strong run, especially seeing that we have another bank having issues. A bank having issues, we want to think like what I'm talking about is the First Republic basically dying overnight. And with that, although it's good for the digital asset ecosystem, it's best for Bitcoin because Bitcoin really is starting to, the seeds are planted, and there is a bit of a notion now. People are starting to look at attributing, 1 to 4 to, people are looking to attribute their capital as some form of a diversified portfolio for safe investments, especially as more banks are having issues. Now, if we come over here to my favorite news site, and we're going to do this together. You all should use this site. I'm not sponsored by them. This is just a great free site. It's called newsnow.com. You can come over here, click on crypto. When you click on crypto, you can see it basically aggregates news from all these different, every major outlet, both traditional and crypto outlets. But you can also come over here directly to Bitcoin and whatever different coins you want to look at. And you can pull up whether top stories, latest news, most read, and we can see there was a story I saw in it earlier and I forgot to bring it up. But First Republic Bank, is having their crash. Coinbase suing the SEC. The congressional hearing with Gary Gensler, and basically how bad they took him to task and just took him apart. There is something happening. I can feel it. I don't know what it is. I think it's probably because it's a little bit of everything with, Bitcoin is well enough established now, and it's on the floor of Congress being talked about on news stations. It's on tickers of CNBC and MSNBC and all these different market watch shows. And this has become something that is, it's reached the starting point. And the reason I say that is it's been very speculative up until now and risky up until this year. And now, even within all that risk, I've always believed in Bitcoin and blockchain and the digital asset sector. However, we always had to be aware that it was the wild, wild west. When I got in 2015, 2016, if Bitcoin was even mentioned on a news outlet, or if there was like a mention on The Simpsons, the price would have a 30, 40% increase overnight because, oh my God, it was mentioned in mainstream media. Now this is an everyday talking point. So we have entered the zeitgeist, and this has been over the last 3 years to really establish the zeitgeist that we're in. So seeing that Bitcoin and the altcoin market is starting to push now, we need to make sure that we don't get trapped in our excitement and greed of where we want it to go. We need to, of course, be hopeful, but look at the market for where it's at, what it's doing right now. And if we have a long-term vision, then you don't need to be staring at the charts every single day if you're not actively trading, because you're going to work yourself into an emotional tizzy and be shaken out. So what we want to do is we want to be aware of everything that's going on in general, and everybody's calling for 30,000 and all this stuff. So, you know, what we want to do is we want to look at some of the data, and this isn't, I don't know, this may or may not be up to date. That's not the right button. I'll reload this. Now we're going to come over to favorites. I'm going to take my face off so you can see the entire chart. And what I want to do is I want to look to long-term holder net position change. Yeah. So this is what I pointed out the other day. You don't believe me? I'm telling you, you got to come and follow my Twitter. I put out some great content. At least I think it's great. It might be terrible. Where's it at? Right here. This is, what was this? The 23rd. So 3 days ago. So why this Bitcoin pullback could be a shakeout of weak hands, meaning a bit of a bear trap. Essentially indicating I was thinking that the market was likely, had a strong likelihood it was going to rebound from here. Now, looking at this, what I was pointing out is you can see that the long-term holder supply, think of long-term holders as stronger hands, okay? A lot of the on-chain metrics that you see, and by the way, in the new BitLab Academy, we've got an entire on-chain data course. It's got, I don't even remember, it's 20 different lessons or something in here to trading fundamentals, incredible. I mean, all these courses are great. And even the indicators course, we break down, it's not just the BitLab indicators, we break down all the basics, the RSI, stochastics, VPVR, volume, MACD. I mean, we break down a lot of stuff in there, Ichimoku Cloud. But my point is here, looking at this, a lot of the on-chain metrics are basically looking at ratio. They look at ratios and a lot of different things between wallet addresses. But what we really want to pay attention to is weak hands and strong hands. Because weak hands, AKA short-term holders, capitulate at the first sign of trouble and they get shaken out of the market. This is why when we see, look at this long-term holder supply coming down right here. This means if this supply is coming down, this supply is going down at the same rate that it's going up into short-term holder supply. So look at this, as this is going up, this is getting top heavy with people that are scared of volatility until ultimately, you know, ultimately the price collapses. So the inverse is also true when you have long-term holders buying on this. This is the most recent dip. Long-term holders were stacking up in here while we can see this, you know, this is that chart I just showed you on Look Node, but we can see, where's the short-term holders? Yeah. So short-term holders, we see we're capitulating at the small sign of volatility. So what I was trying to indicate here is that the price pullback due to long-term holders increasing supply at this level, there was a bit of an argument that this was likely a bear market, basically market maker, you know, big money volatility shakeout, an intentional volatility shakeout. We cascading liquidations of the longs, shaking out all that, cleaning up the market, and then cleaning up that part of the market and having long-term holders buy. It's like they knew something, right? We can see right here where they had the spike and then the price goes up. We see this right here on this pullback right here, all this big green wave. This is long-term holders increasing their supply, buying this dip, and then we get a strong push. So we need to pay attention to things like this. And by the way, looknode.com is free. Some of these charts, the T1 charts are free. I think the T2 charts may or may not be, but there's a lot of stuff in here. But looking at the NVRV Z-score, this is the market value to realized value. Now, what is realized value? Again, I want to make sure you guys know we're going to be getting back into the charts doing TA on Bitcoin and a bunch of your coins you're interested in. Start throwing your coins in the chat now. Let me know what coins you're holding. Let me know what it is. If you have questions about a particular setup, throw it in the chat. I need to pull up my Discord, so I don't know if my mods were messaging me. Sorry about that. For some reason, I feel like my screen is choppy today. But point being is the market value and realized value is important because realized value is the average price of all Bitcoin in circulation the last time it moved, okay? The last time it was sold, because in order for it to move, I don't mean between my wallet to my other wallet. I mean moved from one, being sold to another person. It's the average price of everything the last time it was sold. And you have to remember, some coins have been held, for 10 years. Some have been held for 5 years. And so those prices aren't reflected in the price of that coin is going to be reflected at the last time it moved. So if you've been holding it for 5 years, then that price is going to be bringing down that average. That's why when we look at this chart right here, this chart, this is my on-chain metric that I made. This yellow line right here is the realized price, and all these bands are fib multiples of the realized price. The realized price is very important because it gives you an honest assessment, a sort of noise-free assessment of where the market is. And when we look at the NVRV Z-score, this is showing, you know, how many standard deviations, how far away is the price on exchange from the average price of the last time every coin was moved. So when this spikes really high, this means this has moved very rapidly up. This has moved very rapidly up, which also is indicating that long-term holders have sold some of their long-term held coins. Short-term holders are buying. So we're seeing these spikes also being correlated with market cycle tops. We're still way down in this low portion of the of this accumulation cycle. You know, we've had. Let me pull up the. Okay. Oh, I don't have my chart up. Man, sorry about that, guys. I got the chart up. So the market value, you get what I'm saying. I mean, really, it's all words. You want the Z-score, which is this orange line right here. If somebody's dinging me, I know that the chart is not up. So we can see that this Z-score is the difference, the disparity between the realized price and the market value. A good way to look at this, by the way, is look into Bitcoin. There we go. If you come over to look into Bitcoin, this is also another free, has some free on-chain metrics. We can come here, Lee, there we go. Where's MVRV Z-score? There we go. This actually shows, the realized price right here, you see? And when you get this far separation up above, the black line is a price. This is a realized price, the blue line. When you get this far separation very quickly, this is when we get the spice. This is when you get the spice in the market, baby. It's too spicy. You got to cool it off with some milk. Bring it down. No, but this is what we're watching, and we see we're still very early. Look at the similar zones here. Similar zone where we're at here. Look at how much we still had to go. So we want to do everything we can to make sure we are not abusing our portfolios through trading emotionally so we can take advantage of what's happening here. And this is why I don't care if you don't like on-chain or not. You need to learn to understand it is not a signal that gives you day trading signals. What it does is it gives you insight into what different behavior patterns are of different important categories of investor in the market. And in this case, we knew from looking at the on-chain data of long-term holders and short-term holder net position change. Actually, it's here we are. We see the short-term holders were selling while long-term holders were buying. It was a good indication that you could have at least taken advantage of likely upside coming because of, you know, once these short-term holders are exhausted and they sort of flip the script, maybe they watch the show and see maybe it was an opportunity to buy, then you could take advantage of that. Now, coming back out here, I want to look at the USDT dominance. This is important. This is when this is going down, Bitcoin and crypto is going up. When this is going up, Bitcoin and crypto are going down. We see right here, the last couple of days, this is on the last 3 or 4 days when we've had this large pullback. This is when USDT dominance was going to the upside. Well, we're pulling back again. So is this going to be a support region, or have we actually broken through this? Well, we're not gonna know yet. All we can do is trade safely. This does look like an M pattern, so it's likely this will have a little retrace and then a continuation down. Why do I say that? Because we understand market cycle structure. Market cycle structure is everything in this market. And what do I mean by market cycle structure? Remember, you got to just look at this chart over and over again. Accumulation zone at the bottom, either double bottom or accumulation zone, as we see here. Triple bottom maybe as well. Even potentially inverse head and shoulders, right? But you see accumulation patterns at the bottom, reversal signals. On the top, you can see a head and shoulders, which this would have been, or a double top, which would be an M formation, or this is kind of a triple top as well. But my point is understanding the structures we're looking at on price action and charts helps give us an indication of how to interpret the other data that we're looking at and whether things are in agreement or disagreement. Now, let's go ahead and get back over to Bitcoin. Get back over to Bitcoin. Everybody, okay? Everybody, twist your back. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Come on, contribute to joining this community. Be a part of what we're doing here. Now, Bitcoin. What did I say yesterday was going to be the determining factor? I wanted you to throw it in chat if you remember. If we bounced, if we broke out of this to the upside, what did I say we had to really watch? I want to see who's paying attention. What did I say we had to really watch and take sharp action if this happened, if this started coming to the upside? At this point, man, I think when I have Discord open, it slows down my computer. I might have to. Question for Karen. So if we bought and had something on exchange since 2019 and just now moved it to cold storage, does that figure? No. Karen, no, that does not figure into the chart. What figures is when, because you're not exchanging money for it, you're sending it from one wallet address to another. So the realized price would have been, because all this is included in the UTXO transaction, unspent transaction output, which is essentially, it's essentially the tag. It's the data set that is with each Bitcoin when it's stored anywhere on chain or moved. That's not included. So in terms of just moving it from your wallet to your other wallet, because there's no money being paid in that transaction. Now over the counter stuff may have an impact on it as well, because some of that may be off the books. Like for instance, if I buy something from you and give you cash, that would have a little bit of a skewing there as well. But yeah, so it's the actual trade of it, the actual trade of that asset. But what we're looking at here was no, not the 30.2K. What was the determining factor here on the way up was what price was going to do. There's two levels I was watching, the 382, right? And look at, remember, we drew this yesterday. I did not draw this today. I did not change the chart today. This fib was from this this move. I need to move this out of the way. This top, actually it was this breakdown, this top to the bottom. I was looking at this fib level because if it was very weak, if we had trouble at this area and started pulling back, I would have shorted from there, because we're already in a bearish structure. And if we can't get over the 382, which is the 38.2% retracement, if we weren't able to get over this, it was very strong sign of weakness in the chart. So I'm going to go just to the chart here. And the next step was, and we got a little bit of a pause here, but it's okay. We broke above it and held it as support and then launched from there. So in reality, what we really did there is we created a bit of a bull flag. And why do I say that? Let's do option T. It's going to be kind of a obscure structure here, but we've got a bit of a bull pennant, bull flag, same thing. They play out the same way. And we can go like this, and what the next target is, let's see, we broke past that target. Now we could actually, that's one way to do it. We can also do it from there, because that's where that move really broke out from. And you can see that's about where the price went to. But the next step up was very important, because this is where the emotional trading starts coming in, because market makers, this pulling up to here or bouncing up to here, get some people, very emotional traders, going long because they don't want to miss this move. But it really starts making people, even experienced traders, once you start getting back up to about, past halfway, the 0.5 mark is about right here. It'd be about right here, because we have the 0.382, we have the 618. And remember, these are all percentages, right? 0.382 is 38.2% of 1, right? So this is a 38.2. The halfway mark's about right here. So once we start getting up into the golden pocket, this is about where the majority of people really get emotionally triggered to engage when maybe they shouldn't have. If you didn't take the breakout here, this is not where you take the move. You missed the move. You need to wait for some retracement. In this case, you could have taken it right here on this bull flag as well, but there would have been a very short level above that I would have been worried about, and that's this golden pocket right above. these two lines right here. I can delete this for 1 second just so you can see these two. This is a 0.618 and 0.65. Now this, look at this. Look at this wick. This is on the 20. God dang it, cancel. I have to move my mouse slowly so it doesn't send us off the screen. Look at this wick, bounces right off of it. So on this move, I would have moved my stop loss up probably about the 0.5. If we want to look at this, we can just double click on it. Come here at a 0.5. So yeah, so I would have on this move up, as soon as it's found a little bit of trouble here, I would have put my stop loss here at the 0.5 in case this reversed, because this is a spot that the majority of reversals happen from, because that's where they can trap the most liquidity. That's where they can get the most people excited to start going long to front run the breakout above 30K or whatever the previous high was. And in reality, this is a pausing point, and this is a determining zone. The fact that we had a very small wick on the 24-minute pull back, I mean, only over the course of, let's see, about an hour and a half, right? Then rocket up from that sliced right through the golden pocket is leading me to believe there's some bullishness in the market right now in terms of direction. Now, we are at what the investor bros, I had never heard it called this before until I saw them call it this, but they call this the platinum pocket, the 786. This can also be a reversal zone. So we need to pay attention to the 786, but the fact that we sliced right through the golden pocket and we came right up to the 786 and actually broke it, and then now we're sitting right below it. Let's come down to the 7-minute chart. Let's go to auto, double click on the chart to minimize the indicators. So we need to pay attention to this right here, because this is very small time frame, but we could see even right here on this very small time frame, I zoomed in, that this is broken down a bit, lost this structure, and this is kind of finding resistance at the 0.5. It hasn't quite made it up to the 0.618. So the one thing I will say about this does look a little bit like a falling wedge channel, option T. So this is still looking bullish to me. This is still looking bullish, even though it's trending down. This is why you need to understand candle patterns. Even though price is pushed up and it's pulling down, this is actually a bullish structure as it's falling. Falling channels and falling wedges are inherently bullish structures, about 70% breakout to the upside. Rising wedges or rising channels, meaning if you had two lines going up, parallel channel, or a wedge angle to the upside, where you have the open mouth and the closed front, basically being like a rising wedge would be like this. This is inherently bearish and tends to break out to the downside, but we're seeing some structure form to the upside. And the interesting thing is we're coming right up to, let me actually delete that. We're right at the 786. So the next level we need to look at let's go to the 1 hour. The next level we need to look at is this level right here. I don't want, doesn't matter what I want, by the way, the market's going to do what it's going to do. And that is, I don't want this to roll over from here and break down, because then we have 1, 2, 3 sort of lower highs, right? So we're really starting to form a little bit of a narrative here. And especially think about this. This is what we have to consider. Price action on charts is all about understanding what the narrative of the psychology and the feeling of people in the market is. And so this was very exciting, getting up to $31,000. Breaking down, scary. Yay, we're going back up. Okay, everything's going to be okay. But then it fails. And then it kind of faked out there, went back up, captured more liquidity from people going long. In order for people to sell and it's short from here, somebody was buying this top. That's where every one of these price action levels goes to, where somebody's willing to buy and somebody's willing to sell. So if we break down like this, and this got a little scary, right? Because every one of us, I know very few people who don't have a bullish bias in this market, okay? And we want it to go higher. It's so exciting when price action is moving. When you're seeing your portfolio at all-time highs, and it's going to be a while before my portfolio is back anywhere near all-time highs. But I've been trading, and I've been living poor, okay? I've been living poor so I can set every dollar aside that I can into DCA or putting it into a dry powder folder, meaning I had capital on the side to deploy in certain situations, okay? And so when we see this, break down and rise, but then break down, and remember, what did I say was a very popular area for rejections? Well, look at this. This comes right up. Look at this, 618, double tap the 618, this golden pocket, double tapped it only to reject. This is why we need to pay attention to that. Now, this is sell-off, committing people to go short and just trapping all this liquidity, going long, short, long, short, long, short. There's active smart money traders taking advantage of all of this, only to have it now come to the upside and break through the golden pocket. If this gets rejected here, then the confidence of the bulls that still are having some hope here, and I'm not talking about the smart money active traders. I'm talking about the retail, which is the majority of people trading in the market are retail. And thus, if the confidence is lost by those people, then the institutional and smart money investors can take advantage of the lack of bullish enthusiasm and send price lower and capture and liquidate the longs that still exist, push price down. Because to long-term investors, you have to remember, long-term investors in retail are very different. Retail is trying to make that buck quick. Retail, that's why the short-term holders, there's no conviction in the market. We want this to be going up and up and up. We don't have the patience to wait 5 years. Institutions and smart money, they could theoretically just grind this down for another year and get it even down to, those levels that Crypto Savvy and some other people have talked about, down in the $7,000 to $6,000 range. That would make institutions, nations, the central bank, that would make everybody so happy on that side of it. But there's too much at play here within the crypto ecosystem, and the supply demand dynamics, because of the mining cycles, the rewards, I should say, for miners, and all these things. If this is lost, then this is why, we have to look, we always have to have an idea on what a lower target could be. The flag out of this would have been down here to the low side of $25,000, but the short-term holder realized price is right about $24,000 as well. But I do think if this gets rejected, I think we're in for, we're going to have to watch it day by day, but this is looking, the current structure of this is looking bullish. If this starts consolidating sideways here, then we need to pay attention to all things that we can on these charts. Now, coming into some of the indicators, we can see things are a little bit overheated right now. This is on the 1 hour though. Let's go to the 4 hour. Things got a little bit overheated. We can see, I got to move slowly so I don't back up the page. We got the bullish divergence on the hidden volume here. This is all the BitLab trading stack indicators. We've got the relative extrema was sticking out ahead of this bullish divergence on volume. This is my favorite indicator within the stack, by the way. This combined with blue and the blue wave, meaning undervalued, and the relative extrema sticking out. This is 1, 2, 3 success. I mean, this is such a strong hit rate for these moves when all the three of these, especially if you get a bullish divergence, typically a bit closer, but if you get a bullish divergence, which are these flags right at this level, but we got this level. But now seeing where we're at now, this looked a little scarier because this push out looked like it could have been a little bit of a fake out because this relative extrema was sticking out to the upside and this flipped red. But we're getting strong bullishness right now. So we need to look to that. Now on the daily, we're getting the relative extrema sticking out a little bit to the upside. I'm hoping that if anything right now on a moderately bearish, but actually predominantly bullish sort of mindset, that the price action, let me go to auto, that the price action here, if we do get rejected at the 786, that if we got trapped, if we got kind of rejected off here and bounced, tested this golden pocket, tested the resolve of the bulls, bounced from this golden pocket and then continue to the upside, that would be okay too. So that's something that, we may even consolidate in this sort of range here and then retest this previous high, 30,400, and then the actual local high, which is up here at this 31,000 level. So that's what I'm seeing right now on Bitcoin. We need to be a little bit reserved as to what's happening because there's a lot of market movement happening right now that is it's pressure from a lot of forced selling, liquidations, market movement in that regard. So we come over here to liquidations. Let's see how many shorts got wrecked. Look at this. No, hold on. That's fine. Is this? No, let's go to 4 hours. So not that many people. A lot of longs got wrecked, but things are starting to calm down a little bit here. But we're seeing, yeah, we got 7 million, 33 million, 4 million, 4 million, 30 million, 45 million. This is the shorts getting liquidated, being forced to buy, coming to the upside. So if anything, there's a little bit of healthiness coming in the market because some of these, the over leveraged open interest levels are starting to come down a little bit. Now let's go and look at all your favorite coins. All right. How's everybody doing? Everybody self-quality check. Gotta stretch our backs. Oh, at least I need to. I wake up early for you guys, get this stream set up, do the BitLab recording. You guys have no idea how hard we work for you here at Hit Network. It's a grind. So I need to stretch my back. I had to go to urgent care yesterday, okay? And last week, because I can't walk right now. Okay, I got some ligament messed up in my foot, I think from recording these, standing here and recording these, I do 7 to 10 different lessons at a time sometime because my legs are different lengths from my 2 motorcycle accidents. I kind of would have to stand on one foot and I think it messed up my foot. So that's okay. We're here in the charts. We're doing this together. This is our therapy. Okay, let's see. What are we going to look at? Let's go back to the charts. Cardano is, they're all performing quite well. Now, coming out to the chart, we can see here, we have this channel. Now, this is why it's good to map out your charts, is we have this channel that we're in. We broke down from here. We had this sort of level of, these 2 levels that I created from 2 different points of supports and resistances. And we can see this is so annoying with the trackpad. I cannot believe some people do charts with the trackpad. This is ridiculous. I'm going to have to find that mouse. We see that we bounced at this sort of region. This is an area I marked out when we were up here, when we were breaking down. I was looking at this level right here because of all this interaction, price action. Now we broke through this, retested, broke down. You see, and I bet I have not looked. Let's look. I bet this was somewhere around the 618. Look at this. What was I telling you about watching that 618? We got to watch that 618. Now, in this case, we have this falling sort of channel that is broken to the upside, but we're finding a little bit of resistance right in the region of this channel previous support that has flipped to resistance. So we need to watch this zone. We need Cardano to break back inside. If it was to go straight up from here on this 4-hour candle, that would need to go up to another cent, another 3% or so to get up into this and then hold in this area. But this is looking bullish. Excuse me. This is looking bullish. This is looking bullish, but we need to be cognizant of, look at this, it's finding resistance right at this volume pocket, this volume node right here, which is also all these previous highs. We have broken above these highs, which is kind of nice, which is this line right here. I'd like to see maybe a little light rejection here and bounce and then continue up to the inside, or just go up to the inside. If we need to look at this full move though, option F down to the bottom. Now we're coming up above, right about the 0.5. Look at this, the 618. It's amazing to me how much these fibs work with all this stuff. Alexander G. Yeah, special shout out to Alexander G. Always helping here in the house. Special shout out to Alex Green as well. He's on the road and kind of working. He's on and off the stream. I don't even think he's on today. But Alexander G. is she's always so helpful. Yeah, the new courses. These will be going live. I'm leaving May 5th from Atlanta, okay? We are going to make the site, this rollout, this updates is happening before I leave. Literally, we're on the very last things with the site. but you can come over to bitlabacademy.com. This is what it looks like currently. Sign up right here, put your email in. You get entered to win a free access to courses and indicators, as well as, and I haven't been doing it this last month because I've been doing all my focus on getting the BitLab posted. So I'm going to be doing a couple winners here in next week. But I also send out charts and what's going on in the market. It's this free newsletter, and you get access to what's going on here. But you can come over here, come to Get Started Today, and you can go through that. And there's a section right above the payments area that says Have a Coupon. Click on that. Put in BitLab 15. You can get an extra 15% off. And everybody that joins before we roll out this new website and we roll out all this new content, if you join before that, there's the current pricing you're going to be able to keep for life because we are raising the pricing. Not a lot, just it's going to be, I think, about $37.99. But you can keep the current pricing under $30 for the life of your account if you join before that. And then, of course, you can also come over here to the indicators area. This is where the BitLab trading stack. This is all the indicators, the relative extrema and the relative extrema, the BitLab. I don't know why this thing is. The relative extrema, the hidden volume, the BitLab market intelligence, all this, you get that. You can use BitLab 15 for 15% off that as well. Now, coming back into the charts, we see that we're getting on the 4 hour, we're getting 3 bearish divergences. We're coming up short of the golden pocket right here. We got to pay attention to what's going on here with Cardano. I can see a potential of having a bit of a rejection here. As I said, I'd like to hold above the 382, which is this previous high here. Now, while that's lower than I want it to be, this price tends to, when it does come back to retrace, come back to a level that is about where a previous high was, which would be, you see right here, and then bounce from there, continuing up like this. I think that is a possibility unless we get some strong news. This was looking overheated though, and it did flip back gray, which is quite nice to see. Let's look what it looks like here. Yeah, I'd like this to consolidate. I'm going to kind of be watching what happens with Cardano because it has this massive resistance above it. It may be slow played unless it just gets some good news or just a monster push, a buy or something. But this is looking bullish. It's just looking like it's bullish near a ceiling. So we need to be aware of that. Let me see. Did I get any messages from today? Okay, let's do, let me come here. Let's do Arbitrum. I'm doing some of the coins that I see the mods sent me that they saw you all posting. So let's look at Arbitrum. Arbitrum 12-hour auto. So remember, this is doesn't have a lot of history. So there's going to be price discovery, and I'm not even going to do I would not even do a fib from this low to this high because this is kind of an obscure level of where it launched from. I could do it from here, option F. Actually, I don't want to do that. I want to do it from here, highest point. Option F. This is not going to give great data because there's so little price interactivity, but at least this, I want you to notice something here. So with this level here, what we did is we took it from this high to this low. And if you don't see these on your chart, what you can do is you can double click on your fib and you can add your 1.618, 2.618, you can add some of these levels. Yeah. And that way these are the extension levels. So from this move down to here, we can see because we don't have price levels from previous price action because it's a newer coin, we can see that if we do break out from here, and in this case, on this structure, this is a 12-hour. So let's go to the 4-hour, zoom out, do option T from the top to the bottom. We see right here, we had these points, this point, break out. You see, as soon as we broke out from there, we started moving up. We're sitting here right at the previous high right here in the 382. And the next level up from that would be, I don't really usually have the 0.5 on here. I put that on here for that chart earlier. So we can see the next move up, the golden pocket is going to be the key level. We're at $1.47 now. The next level up would be about $1.62, but there's going to be a little bit of a zone there because of the lows right below that. So I would be looking at probably a little bit of a price interaction at $1.58, but there's going to be sort of stair step up from there. So we can also do this move right here to get more levels. Option F there, boom. So yeah, so I'd be looking at $1.55 because from this move to this low, the 1.618 is right in this region. So now I'm going to delete that so it doesn't cloud up the chart. We know that we have a sort of target right there, 1.55. We can do a line there. So but we have 5 bearish divergences right here on Arbitrum, as well as a relative extremist showing this was somewhat of an unhealthy move. Though we are above the EMA ribbon right now, what we'd like to do is have this whole EMA ribbon flip back. And by the way, we've got some huge updates coming to BitLab Trading Stack, all the indicators coming along with a lot of the updates we're doing to the courses too. So be looking out for that. This is neutral though. This is on the 4 hour. Let's come down to the 1 hour. Okay. Yeah, this is looking like it may reset a little bit. It may test down a little bit to this zone right here. That's not where I put it, right there, which it did, which is a previous high. What did I tell you? When you push up, tends to come down and retest a previous high, this was the last previous high in this zone that that we're broken out of. So now if we're able to push up from here, then this would be a bull flag. Come here like this, go up like this, and look at this bull flag. Goes right into the golden pocket. So if that's any indication of the likelihood of that this structure is pausing with enough time that the breakout also goes right into the level that we're expecting it to go into, gives me a little more consideration that this is probably going to continue bullishly and test its way up to this level. At this level, I will reassess what's happening and then continue looking at the levels above that, 786 and then the high. I'm not going to go into the price discovery. If this were to just start rocketing, then these are the levels that we would look at, the 1.618, the 2.618. But that's right now, we're going to look at level by level because we have not gotten there yet. Now, where was those other ones I saw? Casper, Algo, okay. TSPR. Now, this. Oh, so we got the line here. I don't know why these. So we have this trend line here. We're looking at the 1 hour. This is broken out of the zone. We had a little bit, I wouldn't call it a cup and handle. It's similar structure though, with this sort of rounded and then this handle. This push up right here, we can see this. We had a bull flag right here, and that target was right there, right about where it went. And now what we're seeing here on this level, we need to go from the top here, option F on this recent move all the way to the low. We can see, look at this, had interaction. You see strong movement, interaction right in the golden pocket, but we stopped before it. Let's see, okay. So we went right above it, came back below it, and then fought our way back through it. So now we're sitting on top of the golden pocket, which is a bullish sign. So the next level up is, and this, it's crazy. This 786, this lines up perfectly with kind of these previous highs and this low right here. So I'd be looking, we've already tapped this with the wicks here. So what we want to do is, as this price action is pushing up into this level, we want to pay attention to, if we're looking at it, for instance, if we're trading on the 4 hour, come down to the 1 hour or the 30 minute or 24 minute and really pay attention to the resolution, meaning the smaller candles within it. Because you may see on a 4 hour candle a lot, it just looks very strong. But if you come down to this smaller time frame, you're seeing there's work being done. There's work being done here. Now, if this starts moving up again, healthily, and this is a little bit concerning because this, if we really were to zoom in on this on a smaller time frame, this looks a little bit like a diamond, option T. And if this were a diamond, this could be a reversal pattern. It could also be a continuation pattern, just like everything in the markets. It could go up, could go down. But the reason is because you're seeing this explosion in bullish confidence, but then an immediate rejection with the bears down further, and then it's coming back. So you're having this expansion of volatility and then reduction of volatility, giving you that diamond pattern. And With this being said, if this breaks out above this line, then this is going likely to the upside. If this loses this line on this side, this is likely coming to the downside. Let's go to a little bit smaller time frame. Go to auto. You see what I'm talking about here? This is a little bit ugly, but it can be, my friend. So this is looking, I would lean more bullish. I'll tell you why. Because looking here if we look at the 24 minute, it doesn't give much clarity. On the 7 minute, we're seeing the relative extrema is now sticking out to the downside. What have I said about this? These relative extrema, this shows the health. Come on. Do not have my mouse. This is frustrating. This relative extrema is showing that there's underlying bullish pressure, and any of the bearishness that's happening right here is not healthy. There's underlying bullish pressure essentially that likely will snap, and we're starting to see this roll right here. This is already starting to push up, and this is showing that any bearishness is sort of unhealthy. So this is likely going to push the upside, and this is no longer overheated. We can see this overheated right here. It cooled off. It flipped back to gray. So I'm leaning on this probably continuing the breakout to the upside. Coming back to 24 minutes, we can zoom down here. Look at that. It just rocketed. You saw that? Man, this relative extrema is something else. It really gives you, especially when you're zoomed in like that. So if this starts continues pushing up, what we want to do, turn off the market intelligence, come here, go to auto. Okay, so what we want to do here, we know the level. This is so frustrating without my mouse, with my computer trackpad. If this pushes up and comes back and moves down, this was trapping liquidity to go short. So you need to pay attention. Just because something's looking bullish, it doesn't mean you don't practice healthy risk management. So if this continues to the upside, what line is this? This is the 786. It's touched this a couple times now. So now if this breaks above this, we'd like to see this clear this high of 58 cents above it. And then the next high above that would be there'd probably be momentum there. 60. So basically 59 to 60 cents. And then that's going to be a gateway to higher highs. So if we take this level here, this is also, look at this. I didn't even see this before. This is why you always zoom out. This level right here of all this turbulent water is the same level. Look at how close this is of where this previous high is. So the work to be done, and I'm going to turn this line off. I don't even remember doing that. The work to be done here, we've done a good amount of work coming through the 618. We've broken the 786. This doesn't mean we're just rocketing to the moon here. We have some work to do. We'll likely come up, reject from here, small rejection, test this previous low. What do I mean by that? Come up from here, continue, work its way up, reject from here, test this previous low, which is this low right here. And then see what happens, consolidation, breakout from there. That would be my guess as to what's going to happen. I'm going to leave that there in case this is drawing with the trackpad. Come on. Yeah. So that way it'll be on the chart when we come back to look at this and see how we did. It very well, it doesn't mean this has to happen either. Come on. Okay. This very well could get rejected from here and continue to the downside because look at this on the 12-hour. Look at how far these relative extrema bars are out. Now, if the market just gets unleashed with bullishness and just starts pushing and pushing, then we're going to have to reassess some things. But as it looks right now on the smaller time frames, it looks like on the smaller time frames, it's trying to push up. But as I said, you always have to zoom out, look left. You also have to look at the larger time frames. On the larger time frames, this does give me a little bit of pause now that I saw this. So as much as something bullish can look on a time frame, before you leave that chart and before you pull the trigger, look at a few different time frames, both larger and smaller. What have I said about this chart right here? I've said you always need to pay attention to the fact that we have multiple market cycles going on at any given time. You could be in a macro downtrend. You could be in a macro downtrend while you're in a midterm uptrend. And then within that midterm uptrend, you'll be in an uptrend and a downtrend in that small time frame. So you have market cycles happening on all time frames. So if we understand that, and we're looking at Casper, and we see this, we had this macro downtrend that we're breaking our way out of. So now we're in a midterm uptrend, but now we're in a midterm uptrend that may be coming to an end, that may be a downtrend. So my point being is look at multiple time frames because looking at the 7 minute looked very bullish. Look at that very quickly. Oh, how the tables have turned, right? We see the relative extreme way out of bounds here now. So is this just a liquidity grab for a reversal? We need to pay attention to this. And we remember when we looked at the golden pockets and the different levels just on the fibs, if we get rejected from here and find support, we get rejected from here and find support, come on, find support in this golden pocket region, then that's fine. If we're able to overtake the 786, then I'm looking at likely testing these previous highs of 59 to 60 cents level, this regional highs. I don't mean the actual all-time highs. If we lose this level, then I'm thinking it's not only going to lose this level and come down, I think we'll likely be testing these lows probably down here again, most likely. So that's what we got there. Now let's look at algo, because algo, you know, I'm not going to do it on this chart. I'm going to do it. Let's go back to, because I already have it done the other day. Come over here. Where are we at? Algo. Okay, now. So algo is trying to make a bit of a play here too. Now we got lumped in with that stupid lawsuit from Gary Gensler identifying it as a security. Had quite a bit of a sell-off. Now, where we're at right now, we need to look at our levels. Let's zoom out first because I drew levels a while ago. We got to understand what the levels are. Okay, let's go to auto. Okay, 3 days. There we go. So we have these lows. Okay, we have this sort of pattern here. We have this, which could be extended back to here, but rejection, support, rejection, fake out and rejection. So now we understand what it is we're looking at. Okay. Now this is the 12-hour, this is the 3 days. So this is 3 day. It's gray. This is sticking to the downside. Let's come to the daily. Blue. So it's looking blue. This lost this level, but this could have been a bit of a washout because of that sell-off from Gary Gensler's. Now this is blue, meaning it's undervalued, oversold. Now let's come down to the 8-hour. Okay, this attempt back to you see the relative extrema here? This was showing this move. This was blue, and then the relative extrema was after that. So this would have been a good buying opportunity. Let's do 3 here. Get my charts pack loaded up. So we can see this relative extrema sticking to the downside, and we see this is neutral now. So this is small push up right at resistance. So we can understand why the relative extrema is looking unhealthy. There's not the underlying support, and we're coming into to test this EMA ribbon. What do I mean by test the EMA ribbon? See this colorful ribbon under this, which we're changing how this is going to work in the new BitLab Market Intelligence. But once this falls through this ribbon, all these bands, these are moving averages, okay? Once it falls through that, then look at this. It's finding this as rejection. It tries to push up, rejection. Tries to push up, rejection. So are we going to get rejected here, or are we going to not only break this previous support, which has now been turned to resistance? We have resistance and this EMA ribbon and the relative extrema sticking to the outside. So this is giving me a little bit of hesitation. We have this high volume node right here as well. So we want to come down here on a little bit smaller time frame. Let's go to auto. Getting a lot. We got some bullish divergences on volume, but they didn't quite play out. A little bit here. Bearish divergences on volume and choppiness. This is sort of waiting on it. This shows me uncertainty in the algo asset right now because of what's happened within the marketplace. There's some selling pressure and some buying pressure, but it's not concerted buying pressure. So this is for me not quite. For me, it's not quite a buy yet. We do have a little baby, almost inverse head and shoulders, but it's right at resistance in the EMA ribbon. I would be a little bit more patient on this. So option F. I like Algorand. I did take some profits off Algorand when that lawsuit came out. So this is having trouble even getting to the 382, let alone breaking this support, while we're seeing other altcoins really make some moves. So if this gets rejected here, I'd be a little concerned about the lower price actions. But I'm just this is a kind of a wait and see level for algo. Let's look at another, what else we got? Avalanche. They got their Avalanche Summit coming up. I think it's May, right? It's May 3rd. Somebody let me know in chat. I think it's May 3rd, maybe May 6th. They have a big summit coming up. I'm hoping, this is just hopium. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm hoping they have some big announcement about some something that's taking their partnership with Amazon further, because you know they have a partnership with Amazon and AWS. So that would be very interesting. Now on this breakdown here, look at this sort of play out. This is not an inverse head and shoulders, but structurally it's similar. We had an attempt by the bears. Bulls brought it back. We have this neckline here. Option J. I don't want to do J actually. I want to do option T. This gives me a trend line. Come across right here. We can make this a little bit darker so it's actually able to be seen, right? So we have this attempt down and it's fighting, and then a deeper attempt down, W formation, which is double bottom, you know, and it's higher low on this too. And then another attempt with the higher low, and then breakout. So this was giving us indication that the bulls are trying bearish washout, right? And then the bulls bring it back, and we got the higher low. The breakout of this was the play here. We retested as well, so that could have been another play. Now, when we look at the move, as we were seeing right here from this breakdown, we can do it from we're going to do two fibs, option F from the top here to the bottom. So we're coming up near, we have all this price action with this bar here. We're coming up to test this level. The 382 is right here, but what I think is probably a better fib to do on this level right here, because it was a smaller regional breakdown, is we can kind of go from this zone right here. It looks like we're getting a little bit of resistance at a key level. What's up, brother? We got a key resistance. Look at that, right at the golden pocket. This is why it's so important. I want all of you, whether you think fibs work or not, practice using fibs and use them at different levels and see where you're getting interaction from. You see this breakout right here is getting rejection right about the level of this this previous price action, as well as the 382. This bounce to the upside is getting a rejection right at the golden pocket. So this is the level we're going to be watching. So the next move from here, if we break this zone, we have this high volume node here, a little bit of a volume gap. I bet if we zoomed out, it wouldn't be a volume gap, but a little bit of a volume gap here. So then the next level up would be this basically 1953, 1930 to 1953 level. Next level up from there, I would be moving probably pretty quickly up to the $20 range again, and then up from there. Now we have a potential event with the summit. If nothing happens, this could be a rally into the summit and then sell off after. So we have to pay attention to that. We got to pay attention to what's going on in these markets and what's coming up on the roadmaps, but also more importantly, even if you're not able to, look to what the roadmap of your assets are, and always remember to go back to Bitcoin and look at the dominance and what's going on with the dominance, okay? And what's going on with the totals chart, all these totals charts, so BTC.D, total 2, total 3, right? The CME futures, we came down, closed that gap, came down. Now we have another small little gap below us, but we're pushing up. The USDT dominance is dropping. So we got to make sure we're looking on broader views and looking at what's going on in the markets. Let's take a look at the traditional markets really quick. Here. Oh, look at this. NASDAQ's breaking down. Dow Jones breaking down. Is this going to have negative impact on the markets? We have to take in consideration these risk narratives that could be weighing down. Now, before we go, make sure you come over to my Twitter. Come give me a follow, and also come to the BitLab Academy page right here. Retweet this. Hit follow at Academy BitLab. Come follow us here. Throw it in the chat there. Hit the like button as well. We draw from all of you that retweet these posts to give out free memberships to the Academy, free memberships for the indicators. And so come and retweet these daily posts and sign up for BitLab Academy's newsletter over at bitlabacademy.com. And in a matter of days, baby girls and baby boys, all my friends, we've got the new website is going to be rolling out here again with all of these new courses. So join now so you get in before the prices go up, because you get to keep the lower price for the life of your account. With that, that's all I got. Big love. I appreciate you all. Over and out. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for liking, subscribing, dinging the bell, and be my friend. Hit that like button, sucker. BitLabAcademy.com.